Hey BookTube, so today we are doing something I don't particularly want to do, but I just thought it would be really interesting because I saw some of her poems on Twitter and I found them hilarious. So today we are going to be reading Adultolescene by Gabbie, Hanna. Before we start, I want to say that this is all for fun. Obviously, I'm not claiming to be a good poet or even a better poet, but I just think it'd be really fun to read some of her poems and just have a little laugh, a little giggle, if you will. So yeah, let's go right into it. But before we start, the first person she has in acknowledgement is Shane Dawson. So if that sets the tone of this book, I don't think I'm gonna like it. I was about to leave and then I read the author's note, which I just want to read to you really quickly. This book was inspired by Bill Burnham, who's inspired by Shel Silverstein. So it's posted by the transitive property. This book's inspired by Shel Silverstein, which I'm cool with because he's dope. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I have not read any of Adultolescene since I filmed the intro. So I figured I would just read through the poems right here, and I would tell you guys about some that I find interesting. The first one I found really fun, because I like the rhyme scheme. It says, Lisa Dutchwood, come out and look. Here at last, another YouTuber book. Just what we needed, someone to produce the tangible ego of a 20-something douche. I like the rhyme scheme, and I also thought it was cool that she was being kind of like, she knows that she's a YouTuber, and that's a main reason she has this book published. So I thought that was kind of cool, that she's being self-conscious. But then you go to the next poem. I like sleep. Sleep is neat. If you're having trouble, count some sheep. I like sleep. Sleep is sweet. Best of all, sleep is cheap. When I sleep, I can dream of cherry pie and Boston cream. When I sleep, I don't have to think. That's why I love my 8-hour blink. I only wake up to eat or pee. Otherwise, I'd sleep for eternity. And the next one is just so bizarre. Like, it starts out with Jacob and Emily sitting in a tree. Kissing. First come love, then come merge. And then it just becomes so dark. Then came a stale and empty life as a result of the societal pressures. It just becomes so bizarre. It mixed with mental illness, followed by a grueling 2-year divorce that damaged the kids emotionally and left everyone like, what? And the next one is just so, like, cheesy. I donated blood today. Feels good to finally be somebody's type. She gives these advice sections. She gave one, when I was a kid, my biggest fear was getting lost in space, and it turns out maybe I shouldn't have been so stressed about that because I don't have a spaceship, so don't make problems when there aren't any. And then this is for 10. When I was little, I was the only person who couldn't do a cartwheel because I was too scared. So I tried, and guess what? I still can't do a cartwheel, but I give it my best shot, and it's okay to fail as long as you try. I don't understand the point of these poems. Like, what? I actually really like this poem. Everyone's asking if I'm feeling okay. The truth is I'm always feeling this way. I'm just having a hard time disguising it today. Like, it actually means something, so I really like that one. This is what I read on Twitter. Time is relative. Beauty is relative. Family is relatives. Wordplay at its finest. When I was young, my mom used to check if the iron was hot by touching it. And I don't know, I just feel like there's a metaphor in there somewhere. Yeah, find the metaphor. Advice 4. For 25 years, I told myself I couldn't do a single push-up, and now I can do 4 push-ups. So don't doubt yourself. Believe in yourself, you can do anything. This is just a roast, and so I don't know what compelled her to write this, but she is definitely mad at someone. Have you ever received a gift that was placed inside of a box that was recycled from another, much more intriguing present, not president. Like, you pull back the pretty paper and you see iPad packaging, but then you open the lid and inside is a lotion set. I meet a lot of people like that. Exciting outside, disappointing inside. Don't be lotion. First of all, what did the lotion do to you? Philosophy. If you eat an entire pizza by yourself in the woods and no one's around to see it, do the calories count? I get, like, there are a lot of sentiments like this, where, like, right now I'm reading Radio Silence, and the guy makes a podcast, and he's like, if nobody's listening to my podcast, am I really saying anything? I don't feel like this has to say, like, you lessen your calories because of, for you, like, I don't, I understand what she's going for, but at the same time, I don't think she did it the right way. I really like this poem. My therapist tells me what my dreams mean, and I believe him the way you believe your teacher when he tells you what a poem means. I really like that poem. I think it's not bad. This one is really telling. As of late, since this book deal, I speak in strictly poetry, which kind of is saying that she started writing poetry after she got a book deal. I don't know if that's what she's saying, but okay. He's really obsessed with making everything a metaphor. This one is about using your phone as a coaster, and it like makes no sense. And then at the end she says, this is a very millennial metaphor for the human psyche. Beware of the power of persuasion. One time I convinced an entire table of people that a piece of chocolate pie tasted like mac and cheese. Like, they all agreed it was nuts. Anyway, don't believe everyone you hear. Be your own person. Think for yourself. I actually really like this pets poem. It says, pets are weird. People getting pets are weird. And it talks about like how we nurture these things and we grow with them just to know that they'll die before we do. Life isn't fair, but it's unfair to everyone. So that's fair, I guess. First of all, it isn't equally unfair to everyone. They told me you'd catch more flies with honey, but I don't want to catch flies. I want to kill them. Again, she's super obsessed with metaphor and like kind of forcing metaphor. I think that's what she's trying to do here. I really like this poem as well. Again, do I feel like it should be published in a book of poetry by Simon and Schuster? I didn't even see it was published by Simon and Schuster. By Simon and Schuster. And marketed. It was actually, I went to Barnes & Noble the other day, and one of the main displays in the poetry section was her new poetry book, Dandelion. So again, while this poem is good, do I really need it this, like, part of a huge poetry book that's being displayed at Barnes & Noble and published by Simon & Schuster? Sad. It's fine. Yes. I like this one. I know it hurt your feelings when I turned what you called presents. I wish that I could keep them, but they remind me of your presence. I like the wordplay there. This one's just like, come on now. If opposites attract, my soulmate is going to be funny, easygoing, charming, attractive, exciting, adventurous, affectionate, amiable, courageous, intelligent, rational, affable, brave, humble, neat, well-tempered, patient, polite, confident, sensible, emotionally stable, and just an all-around gem. I don't know if this is a forced metaphor or if she's trying to really be ironic. 90% of your body is made of H2O, but then she says you can die from drinking too much water, and so 98% of you will turn on you in a second. Water is the reason I have trust issues. And then a picture of a water bottle with a skull label. Here's some facts about love. 2% of marriages are high school sweethearts, blah, 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 blah. But none of this matters because 100% of relationships end in death. Why? Like, okay, so I'm 108 pages in, right? And I've just been reading. I've been filming for 20 minutes now. Some of the poems I've read have not been bad, right? Like, I could see the point in them. I think they're good poems. But then there's so many that I've shared with you that are just so bad. Unbelievably bad. And overall, even the ones that I think are decent, I just can't believe this got published, and this is published poetry. Like, I don't understand this one. K. What? Ever notice that the word synonym doesn't have a synonym? First of all, I'm sure it does. And second of all, even if it doesn't, which again, I don't think it doesn't, why? You're disgusting. Leave perfect. Again, why? Again, forced metaphors. When I was a kid, I thought I'd never be able to swallow a pill. And now I can swallow 2 pills at a time. So you're capable of more than you could even imagine in your wildest dreams. I smashed my smoke detector because I'd rather die a fiery, painful death than listen to it judge me every time I cook bacon. This one called Web I actually really like. It's about like the insecurity that YouTubers have when their entire career is built on them having this persona that they put on for cameras. Are you happy or are you not sad? I like this one as well. I really like it. It has something to it that just I like. Could you, sir, if you don't mind, defuse the bomb in my chest? If it's not too much trouble, could you be so kind as to solve this wiry mess? I know it's a diminishing number means. I'm running out of seconds, it seems. I'm about to be blown to smithereens, and the ticking is making me anxious. So please, sir, if you can spare the time, defuse the bomb in my chest. I like that one. But then you get to the next one. I just said I liked that one, but the next poem, I wonder what dying feels like. You too? I'll let you know when I find out. Oh, wait. Like, come on. I feel like she's written so many of these poems just to have enough to fit a book when there's so much potential there. Like, oh my god. I feel like she could do so much better. There's some poems in here that I genuinely like. I don't know if other people like, but then there's just like 95% that are just there to fit a deadline, or I guess they're just, I don't know. It feels like they're there to fit a deadline, or they're just bad, just genuinely bad. I don't know. Like, I didn't think I was like gonna like it the way that I like it, but like, I like it. Link in bio. My battery's dying. I'm at page 189, and I have like 50 pages or so left. So yeah. See you guys soon when my battery is not dying. So I finished the book. Now, I rated this a 2 out of 5 stars. While I genuinely enjoyed or appreciated some of the poems, there were just so many that just grinded my nerves, and I just hated them. I really feel like she has potential to write some really good ones, but I don't know. I don't know, man. And even at the end, she confesses, some of these poems were written because inspiration struck, others were written because I had a deadline and needed to fill pages. Can you guess which are which? Yes, I can. And even the ones that I thought were decent, I just don't feel like they're that good to be in a published poetry collection. The advice poems were my least favorite. The forced metaphors, the conversations. If you guys want me to read Dandelion, which is her second poetry collection, leave that in the comments down below. I've heard it's a little better than Adultolescene, so that's a positive. But if you enjoyed this video, leave it a like. Comment down below your thoughts on some of the poetry in this video. If you disagree, agree, leave it in the comments below. Subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I'll see you next time with another video. Bye.